Late night USL League One action takes us out west to Fresno, California and Fresno State Soccer Stadium for a battle between an improving Central Valley Fuego FC and title-chasing Northern Colorado Hailstorm. It's the Fire and Ice Derby on ESPN+, and we're glad to have you. I'm Donnie Barnes, and as we look at the current standings, very different picture for these two sides. Northern Colorado can go top of the table with a win here tonight. They have the tiebreaker over Union Omaha, who won earlier today. North Carolina FC lost in a last-ditch effort earlier tonight, and so a big opportunity for NOCO to go back to the top of the pile. Fuego, meanwhile, eliminated from playoff contention. They're bottom of the table, but they've been much better lately. Even though it hasn't been the season they were hoping for, Fuego improving noticeably, especially in the attacking third. They only scored 20 times in their first 15 matches this year, but in their last 6, they've scored 13 times. That includes a crazy 3-3 draw at Richmond, a 4-4 draw against Madison, and a last-gasp 2-2 draw that they salvaged against Lexington last weekend. Alexis Cerritos has been their main danger man with 8 goals, including this beauty against Lexington earlier this year, but they're starting to find more threats up and down this lineup. Northern Colorado riding a 4-game winning streak, and it was this Marky Hernandez goal that salvaged a late draw at Tormenta on August 23rd that began this good run for them. They were about to lose for a 5th time in 6 games before Hernandez scored that dramatic goal, and since then they've been terrific. They won at North Carolina 2-1. They beat Charlotte 4-2 on September 3rd. They defeated Lexington 3-2 on the 6th, and then had to turn things around late against Tormenta again last week. And Ayman Zayed, signing a contract extension this week, sees his team riding high coming into tonight. Northern Colorado have won both meetings between these two this season, but it's the first time they've journeyed out to Fresno this year. Can they keep the goals and the wins coming, or will Fuego continue their fresh spark with an upset win of their own? Find out next.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Our procession onto the pitch in Fresno here this evening as Central Valley Fuego gets set to take on Northern Colorado Hailstorm in what could be quite a chaotic match. Two sides both scoring lots of goals and both conceding plenty of goals as well. The Fire and Ice Derby so far this year, both prior meetings in Windsor, Colorado, both won by Northern Colorado. The first meeting back on May 27th, a dominant 4-1 victory for the Hailstorm. They raced out to a 4-goal advantage in the first half. Bilyan Bijev pulled one back after halftime, but it was much too little too late. Much tighter in their second meeting, a great save there from Lalo Delgado to keep it goalless early. And then the only goal of the game would arrive later on as Northern Colorado, courtesy of one of those 19 goals so far this year from Trevor Ammon, able to prevail 1-0. Now the starting 11s for this one, and first for the home side, Central Valley making 2 changes from their 2-2 draw with Lexington last weekend as Francois Dulis comes back into the lineup. Jordan Chavez out of the 18 this week. Matias Fernandez in goal tonight. It will be just his 4th appearance of the year. He's a Fresno native, played for Fresno FC and for Fresno Fuego in their days in USL League Two. So one of those rare guys who's played for all 3 iterations of Fresno clubs in the United Soccer League at various levels. Alexis Cerritos, as you see, leads the team with those 8 goals. Northern Colorado, meanwhile, wearing their white kits today. They make 3 changes from their win against Tormenta last weekend. Billy King is back in the starting lineup as Stefan Lukic drops to the bench. Danny Robles starts after scoring off the bench against Tormenta last week. And Leo Fola returns to the back line in what, on paper at least, will be a back 3 to begin this game. Eamon Zayed shuffling his formation a little bit at 3-4-3 lineup with Trevor Ammon, of course, 19 goals on the year. That's already broken the League One regular season record. He has a 5-goal lead currently on Olex Anderson of North Carolina FC for the Golden Boot in League One. It is Hispanic Heritage Night here at Fresno State Soccer Stadium. We had the national anthems of both the United States and Mexico sung prior to kickoff. And you see Fuego lining up for that traditional pre-match photo as they hope to pick up their first win since July 22nd. It has been a 9-match run without victory for them, but again, lots of draws, lots of close defeats amidst that. They have been a tough out, even though they've struggled to win games lately. Northern Colorado, winners of 4 in a row, as mentioned, unbeaten in their last 6 after enduring a 4-match losing blip in the middle of the season. They went 16 games, the first 16 games of the year, losing only once to begin the season. They were at one time the runaway leaders of League One, trying to return to the summit here tonight, with that door left open by North Carolina FC's dramatic 3-2 defeat to Tormenta at home earlier today. It will be Northern Colorado to kick us off. They will attack from left to right across your screen in this first half. Jose Lara is our center referee this evening, assisted by Karsten Gilwand and Hunter Zakwieja, and Dion Cox-Traeger is our 4th official. Warm evening in the Central Valley, as it usually is. As Trevor Ammon and Billy King standing over it, and here we go. Can the Hailstorm extend their winning streak to 5 and move back to the top of the table, or can Fuego spring an upset and claim their first win since July? What kind of tale will this latest song of ice and fire tell? You see the differences in records. Just 5 victories on the season for Central Valley Fuego. Martin Vasquez parted ways with the team in early July. But again, much better in recent weeks as an early offside flag is raised. It is Fuego in their usual red home tops with the black shorts. This ball forward from Norte. That may stay in play by the end line, not quite. Just a bit too much on it for the run of Marky Hernandez, who has really sparked back to life in recent weeks. 3 goals in his last 5 games. He was a super sub who scored tons of big goals off the bench last year. Starting tonight, as we see Matias Fernandez, as mentioned, just his 4th appearance in goal for Fuego this year. But a Fresno native, he played his college soccer at Fresno Pacific University. Very good Division II program in the Central Valley. And returned home last year after playing for Fresno FC and Fresno Fuego for 5 seasons, 2014 to 2018, their days in League Two. Early touch for Abdul Razak Cromwell. Trying to slide it toward Victor Falk on that left touchline, and a throw one for Fuego. Victor Falk, who of course came from Richmond Kickers last year and scored some big goals for Fuego down the stretch last season as they narrowly missed out on the postseason. Contact and the first whistle, the first foul of the game As Danny Robles clipped, and a free kick for the visitors. Mentioned briefly in the open, the last 4 matches for Central Valley Fuego, a 4-4 draw with Madison, in which they led 4-2. A 3-3 draw at Richmond, where they led 3-2 after trailing 2-0 early on. This is going to be another free kick, and a dangerous one this time in the attacking third. Sharif Daye whistled for that. And he earns a talking to, but looks like nothing more for now from Jose Lara. So Fuego with a 4-4 draw, a 3-3 draw, and a 2-2 draw last weekend, as we see the foul from Daye again. Clear foul, and even though it is early, he's fortunate to escape a booking for that, I think. Ball was long gone by the time he slid in. So exactly the kind of opportunity you don't want to present Northern Colorado, of course, with Arthur Rogers' quality, his delivery from set pieces. Rogers already has 10 assists on the year. He had 9 last season. Chance to whip one in early. He does exactly that, but doesn't beat the first man this time. Well defended by Fuego. Alexis Cerritos able to neatly buy himself some space to get out of trouble. Fuego looking for a free kick at midfield. Nothing doing, and on we go. Noah Powder, who scored some big goals lately. Had that cracking goal against Lexington that we saw in our open. He was the League One Player of the Week last week. Here's Billy King. Battled a bit of an injury a little while ago. 8 goals on the season, though, the second leading scorer on the squad. Powder now up against 2 red shirts, able to cut his way inside. Powder on his left, goes over, wins the free kick. And this will be a very dangerous one for Northern Colorado. And again, it's Noah Powder making things happen on the dribble. Not afraid to go at people. That always makes you dangerous, and he was clearly clipped there by Jose Carrera. Carrera wearing that captain's armband. He was with Chattanooga last year, native of Puebla, Mexico. So Arthur Rogers stands around it. Noah Powder as well. You see them debating. This is certainly within range to go directly for goal. Interesting to see who ends up striking this. Both very capable of scoring from this range. It's a 5-man wall for Fuego. It is Noah Powder, and it's straight at Matias Fernandez. Beat the wall, but Fernandez was well positioned. And the first save of the match. Powder putting it around that wall, but Fernandez had placed his wall well and was well placed himself to deal with one that eluded it. Some miscommunication there between Ammon and King. Both had an opportunity to pounce on that loose ball and create an attack. Both thought the other was going to take it. Victor Falk, not his best touch. It almost worked for him. Wrestled out of play by Bruno Rendon. Arthur Rogers, who starts in the middle of that back 3 tonight. He is capable of playing that fullback position or slotting into the center of defense, and that's what he does tonight. Protected by Cerritos, but then given away by Cerritos and Powder. And King. It's Billy King with a chance to run at that back line. The Scotsman slides in Trevor Ammon. Is this number 20 for Ammon? Down he goes, penalty! And an early spot kick for the visitors, and a big chance for Northern Colorado to take an early lead. It came from Billy King's surge forward. A great ball for Ammon that split the defense, and Ammon trying to take it around the keeper. And you see Central Valley's disgust with the call, but there did appear to be contact. And it is Ammon who takes the ball and will take the penalty.
Hailstorm with the penalty kick.
already on a League One single season record, 19 goals for the year. It's Trevor Ammon for Northern Colorado. It's 20. The first man ever to reach that figure in a single season in USL League One history. Trevor Ammon continues to fire them in, and he fires Northern Colorado into an 8th-minute lead. Matias Fernandez almost got there. He got his hand to it. Couldn't quite tip it around the post. Might have gone for it with the wrong hand, reaching across his body with his left. Always easy to say from here, but if he goes for that with his right, maybe he gets there and tips it a bit further, but very difficult in any case. Fine effort, but so tough to keep Trevor Ammon out from any range, but especially from 12 yards. So exactly the start Northern Colorado would have wanted on the road in a tough environment. And exactly the beginning that Central Valley Fuego were fearing. Here's Robles now protecting it well. Robles shuffling it over the top. It's Hernandez taking it on first time. Ambitious and out. You see the confidence that Marky Hernandez is playing with, though, with his recent goals. That was just Northern Colorado's 5th penalty of the year, and it was just the 3rd one that they've scored. They were just 2 for 4 coming into tonight. Trevor Ammon now 2 of 3 from the spot this year. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Well, Central Valley, with their improved goal scoring record lately, they're going to have to score goals tonight, you suspect. They'll certainly need at least one to get some sort of result, and probably more than that. Northern Colorado have been giving them up, though, even though they've been outscoring their opponents lately. They've not exactly been keeping clean sheets themselves. So a night that we thought would have goals in it has had one already. It still holds the promise for potentially many more. Worth staying up late for, especially if you're on the East Coast. Central Valley have been sloppy in the midfield in these first 10.5 minutes. It was one of those giveaways that led to the opening goal when Billy King was allowed to rampage right down the spine and slide in Trevor Ammon, who was taken down in the estimation of Jose Lara, to the disagreement of Central Valley, but ultimately resulting in Ammon's penalty goal. So on a night where they could return to the top of the League One table, Northern Colorado in a good position in the early exchanges. Decent possession now in the midfield for Central Valley as they try to work themselves into this game. Find a rhythm. Viljan Bijev, just 2 goals on the season. Adds a lot to the team's play, even when he's not scoring, but still would love to score more, especially as a forward. Collision there in the midfield. Referee seeing nothing wrong with that. Now blows the whistle and awards the free kick. So maybe trying to play advantage initially. 12 minutes gone and Northern Colorado with that lead. Here are the live standings. With that early goal, as things currently stand, Northern Colorado top of the pile. If this result were to hold, they have a superior goal difference to Omaha, 17, plus 17 that is, to plus 11. And since both sides are level on 15 wins, or would be anyway, if NOCO were to win this game, That would put the Hailstorm top. Obviously, a very long way to go here tonight. To remind you again, if you're not familiar, total wins are the primary tiebreaker in League One. That is different from some leagues around the world. There are others that do also use that as the first tiebreaker. Goal differential is the second tiebreaker. So, as we see a foul here and a free kick for Northern Colorado. A win for the Hailstorm would put them on 15 wins for the year, along with Union Omaha. It would put them both at 52 points, and that's why goal differential would become that tiebreaker. Remember, finishing in the top 2 versus finishing 3rd is a big difference in this league. The top 2 finishers not only earn a first-round bye, but they also get home field advantage in the semifinal round. So if you finish in the top 2 at least, you're just a home win away from the final. That is a massive difference between finishing 3rd through 6th, having to play a first-round game and then having to go on the road for that semifinal. So with Union Omaha, Northern Colorado, and North Carolina FC all neck and neck at the start of tonight, these top 3 teams separated by just a single point. North Carolina blinked earlier today. They trailed 1-0 to Tormenta, then they led 2-1 late in the second half, but a goal in the 82nd minute leveled it, and then a 94th minute winner for Kingsford Ajay gave Tormenta a dramatic 3-2 win to keep their faint playoff hopes alive. Here's Marky Hernandez wanting to whip one in from the left, trying to buy that yard of space. Stuck to very well by Omar Lemus. Kept by Norty. Cycled back to Rogers, but over his head. Skimming all the way out. It's a mistake for Northern Colorado, handing Central Valley a chance to get themselves up the pitch, which they've not been able to do very often, but that's a wonderful cross-field ball. What a ball that was, and an opportunity to attack now. Sharif Daye muscled off it, though. Excellent defending. Just when it looked like Daye was going to be able to have a crack, that was snuffed out expertly. Leo Fola, who's always so good in the air, playing in that back 3 tonight. Arthur Rogers, happy to just keep it moving. Northern Colorado conceded just 13 total goals in their first 16 games this year. That was by far the best defensive record in the league. In their last 11, they've conceded 21. So again, playing in many more high-scoring games of late, still winning most of those. Foul here ends an attack as Bruno Rondon unhappy with that decision. Eamon Zayed has been scheming ways to get Rendon free down the wing more often in recent weeks. He felt that was something they weren't doing enough during their losing stretch last month. Free kick for Northern Colorado now as Danny Robles was spun down. Robles asking why a card wasn't shown. Norty, who's wearing the captain's armband tonight, asking the same. Danny Robles returning to the team a few weeks ago. Spent last year with them. Played in League Two with Ballard FC and won that League Two title with them. Eamon Zayed always wanted to bring him back. Brought him back for the stretch run, and he repaid that with a big goal last week to help them turn that game around against Tormenta. Arthur Rogers with this service. Scooped into the area, comes all the way through to the back post. Nobody in white able to take it under control. And it's shuffled clear by Daye. Only as far, though, as Robles. All Northern Colorado in these opening 17 minutes plus. Fuego trying to hang on and hang in. Northern Colorado took over the league lead in total goals scored. With their 2 goals last weekend, they had 50 total goals coming into this week. That was 1 more than Tormenta. Tormenta scored 3 today in that win at NCFC. So the live goals scored table would be 52 for Tormenta and 51 for Northern Colorado. But the Hailstorm much higher in the table than Tormenta because Tormenta's defense has been questionable, to put it mildly, at times this year. But big win for them earlier tonight. Maybe still a chance to mount a late playoff push if they were to win the majority of the rest of their games, which is not impossible for the still defending League One champions down in South Georgia. Northern Colorado battling for that regular season title, that Players' Shield. They've already qualified for the League One playoffs for the first time in their history in their 2nd season. Now here's Dye after this long ball, but out comes Lalo Delgado. First time he's needed to touch it tonight. Delgado has started all but 2 of Northern Colorado's matches this season. As we remind you to not miss a minute of the action in 2023, whether your club's on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL League One on ESPN+. As this is headed back to Matias Fernandez at the other end. ESPN+, the home to the USL, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Let's switch out to the left. Overhit intended for Falk. Ayman Zayed, excuse me. See him at the bottom of your screen. Not wearing a sweater tonight, apparently, just wearing the tracksuit. Signed a new contract extension this last week. Congratulations to Ayman, who is staying right there in Windsor, Colorado. Signed through 2026. Well deserved. Northern Colorado, who still aren't in their permanent home. They will move in there next season. Had to spend significant amounts of time on the road each of these last 2 years. Just missed out on the playoffs on the last day of the season last year. Comfortably qualifying for the postseason this year and aiming for much, much more than that. Neat turn from Bruno Rendon. That's really well done as he skips away from a couple challenges, connected with King, taken down by Ammon. And then it ran away from him. That was a good sequence, though, for the Hailstorm. That's a sloppy ball out. And a foul and a free kick for Noco. And frustration growing for Central Valley and for their fans. Victor Falk is going to be shown the first card of the evening. Passing just sloppy for Fuego early in this game. Victor Falk, though, feeling he didn't do anything wrong there. He goes into the book in the 21st. Still steaming about it. But Arthur Rogers being handed multiple opportunities in these early minutes to swing dangerous balls into that Central Valley box. Instead, he plays this one short. And Noah Powder. Now Norty. Norty along the deck. Back to goal and spun over and out by Marky Hernandez. Trying to turn and shoot. Not able to get himself turned quite enough. Hailstorm, though, continue to get themselves in dangerous positions. We spoke to Ayman Zayed a few weeks ago before their game against Greenville. That was when they were on their 4-match losing run. And he was talking about how they needed to find more depth in goal scoring because at the time they'd had 30 of their 36 goals scored by 4 guys. And the vast majority of those by just 2 men, the 2 strikers, Ammon and King. Now since then they have found more goal scorers. They have started to grow that goal scoring depth. Mentioned Marky Hernandez scoring 3 in his last 5 games. Mentioned Danny Robles chipping in with his first since returning to the team last week. That is exactly the kind of thing you need down the stretch and into the postseason. Take Taken down by Ammon, slipping on a patch of grass there. Unfortunate for the man who now has 20 on the season. Viljan Bijev has only had a couple touches in the first quarter of this match. He's been very isolated on that left side of the forward line. That's a neat single touch by Noah Powder into the path of King. It looks to cut across Jose Carrera, who did well to dispossess him. Fuego need more of that. Winning it back in midfield, moving it forward, breaking lines. Bijev, that was good, but boy, players struggling on this surface early on, causing that attack to break down for Fuego. This ground has seen crazy, crazy games the last few weeks. That 4-4 between Fuego and Madison. Oh, big collision. And let's see what comes of this. That looked like maybe face-to-face. Bruno Rendon involved for Northern Colorado. That was nasty looking. Not with any ill intent by either player, just both steaming fully into that challenge, trying to win the ball. Let's see it again. See it sitting up, and Rendon, he does get that elbow up. I think he's trying to brace himself. He's a tall guy. That was scary. You see the Fuego players still down. We'll await confirmation of who that is. It is Alexis Cerritos who took the worst of that collision. Cerritos with those 8 goals on the season. Nobody else for Fuego has more than 2. And Bruno Rendon has been shown a yellow card. When you look at that replay, it does appear to be the correct decision. He did throw that elbow up. Again, I think he's saying, I'm just trying to protect myself, which is understandable, but he is carded in the 26th minute. So Rendon in the book for Northern Colorado, Falk for Fuego. First attacking free kick that Central Valley have had in this opening half. Victor Falk standing over it. Red shirts lining up at the edge of the area. Falk's delivery, and punched clear by Delgado. Strong fists to it. Maybe had a chance to catch, but under some duress, chose the safe route. Back it comes, it's Dye! And tipped over. Good save, Delgado. Dye hit that with venom. And it'll be the first corner of the night for the home side. Boy, he stepped into that and leathered it, and a really good tip. Delgado just getting the fingertip to it, and needed to. Otherwise, that would have crashed, I think, off the underside of the bar and in. Might have taken the roof of the net off, if not for Delgado's intervention. So the first El Mexicano corner kick of the night for Fuego. Victor Falk will take the right-footed outswinger. Falk's ball bounces all the way through, and penalty given. It's given for a push. And Northern Colorado, after they took the lead from the spot, they've given away a spot kick at the other end, and an opportunity for the home side to level it up. You see Jose Lara motioning that there was a shove in the back with 2 hands. Let's see if we can spot it. Yeah, it's Ammon who's penalized for the push on Francois Delis. Jose Lara spotting it immediately. And so Alexis Cerritos, who has scored all 4 penalty kicks on the year that he's taken, trying to keep himself and his team perfect from the penalty spot this year. 8 for 8 as a club. Alexis Cerritos. It's saved by Delgado. He keeps it 1-0. Massive moment for a side trying to return to the top of the table tonight. Central Valley's perfect record from the penalty spot is blemished now, and they continue to trail by a 1-0. Cerritos tried to side foot it, and Delgado read it all the way and smothered and held. He didn't go early. He waited out Cerritos. And in the end, especially by Cerritos' standards, it was a poor penalty. A big blow for Central Valley, who hadn't really been in this game much over the opening 27 minutes, but were handed a massive chance to get right back in it, and they spurned it with big help from Lalo Delgado, who comes up very large for his side. Bruno Rendon now closed down and fouled. For Lalo Delgado, by the way, that's the third penalty that he's saved this season. That ties him for the League One leaderboard, or atop the League One leaderboard, that is. This long ball forward dealt with, might fall to Billy King, but knotted away by DeLise before it reached him. Carlos Aviles of the Chattanooga Red Wolves also has saved 3 on the year, so those two tied now. Meanwhile, here's Robles laying it off left side. Northern Colorado now seeking to double their advantage. A half an hour gone, and it is a tale of spot kicks so far. One converted by Northern Colorado, one saved by their goalkeeper. Now a loose ball pounced on by Vilyan Bijev. What can the veteran create? It's Cerritos on the overlap. Cerritos, it's Dye, and he balloons it over. Snatched at it at the end. Not able to put it on frame. It's given away to Bijev. Cerritos with 2 white shirts in front of him. They were determined not to let him shoot. You see Dye just pushed it too far in front of his body and had to lunge out for it as he tried to finish. And we'll have a hydration break, as it is still very warm in the Central Valley, even at this middle of September juncture of the season. So the goal by Trevor Ammon in the 8th minute from the penalty spot, still the only one thus far, as Alexis Cerritos' penalty was then saved. We'll take another look first at the play that awarded Northern Colorado their penalty. It was DeLise who was adjudged to have tripped Trevor Ammon, and then Ammon nearly had it saved by Matias Fernandez, only able to tip it into the side netting. Not able to get it around that post. Ammon's 20th of the year. And then Lalo Delgado saving at the other end from Alexis Cerritos. So here are those live standings in the top 4 once again, and Northern Colorado continue to top the table as things currently stand. See Charlotte down in 4th place. They will play tomorrow at Lexington. It's an opportunity for Charlotte, although it's a remote chance, but if they could win that game at Lexington tomorrow, which won't be easy, they would keep themselves in the conversation at least for the top 2. Meanwhile, there is Edison Gonzalez, who has taken over as interim head coach for Fuego. He was elevated from first assistant coach and fitness director a couple weeks ago. He's from San Jose, California. He's coached at California Odyssey Soccer Club. He was the associate men's soccer head coach at Clovis Community College, which is in the Fresno area. He's also the assistant men's soccer coach at University of Pacific. It's been a couple weeks full of news for Central Valley Fuego, with Vice President Nini Blanco mutually agreeing to part ways with the club. Sporting Director Adam Smith, who had initially taken charge as interim head coach after Martin Vasquez parted ways with the club in early July. Adam Smith stepping down as interim on August 30th to refocus on his efforts as sporting director and establishing a full-time academy structure. So Adam Smith will still be very, very involved in the club, but stepping back from interim coaching the first team to do all those other things. So Edison Gonzalez taking over for the rest of the season. And we will see beyond that. Still plenty of time for them to turn this one around tonight, despite that gut punch a few minutes ago, having the penalty saved. Carrera. Fuego have been much better at possessing with purpose as this season has gone on. A chance to put in a cross here perhaps. Instead they keep it low. And it is a first-time opportunity that went horribly wrong for Alexis Cerritos. And out for a goal kick. Good build-up play again, though, by Fuego. As we remind you that eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. Free to play. Download now. Good body positioning there to win that ball back by Carrera. Still Carrera now. He slides in Bijev on the left. It's Villian. Bijev! It took a deflection and didn't get through. Volleyed out. It's Daye! Saved by Delgado, and it falls to him right on the goal line. What a sequence. Sharif Daye, that would have been one of the goals of the season. What a volley that was. And Delgado may have saved it with his nose. Sharif Daye has hit a couple absolute missiles in this first half. First, the block from Arthur Rogers. Volleyed out by Cabrera, and Daye, great hit. Delgado sacrificing his face to make the save. And it looped up and back down kindly right into his arms. Shouts there as there was a coming together. Play goes on. Rogers hits one of those raking cross-field balls that he's so good at, but this one was intercepted. Daye, what a flick. Sharif Daye having some nice moments in this first half. He's done everything but score, but well defended there by Lucky Oprah to win it back for Northern Colorado. And they could counter, but they don't connect from midfield to forward line. And a frantic sequence ends with Central Valley taking possession back in their own third. Somehow just the one goal so far. You would probably not be smart to bank on it remaining that way. Cromwell able to advance into the attacking half. The Fuego of the first half of the year would often possess the ball for quite a while, but they would struggle to move it forward and to break lines with it. Much better about that lately, and that's why their goal scoring has gone up so dramatically. It's been keeping them out at the other end that has been the problem, and it's what has prevented them from winning many games despite all those goals scored. A good sequence of possession here. It's Cromwell working his way to the inside. Cromwell. Now Hailstorm trying to work their way down the left, but being hemmed in a bit now as this first half wears on. I think Central Valley wouldn't be too upset to have the halftime whistle right now if they could. Played very well in this first half, but Fuego growing into this more and more. See the shots. 5 now for Fuego, 3 for Hailstorm, both with 2 on target. Both those shots on target for Central Valley from Sharif Daye. This is an awkward ball, but it falls kindly to Delgado again. Leo Fola doing enough to shield Victor Falk off the ball. Victor Falk has moved to a more forward position, and he's moved out to the right. But meanwhile, here goes Billy King the other way. And here goes Trevor Ammon. Ammon cutting onto his left. It's Trevor Ammon. It's deflected, and it goes wide. It will be a corner. Ammon already with his name on the score sheet yet again tonight. Hungry for more. Vital block in the end from Mohamed Dabo. Trevor Ammon can score with his left, he can score with his right, he can score with his head. That's why he's scored so much this year. He still has another half plus several matches beyond that to add to his League One single season record. First corner of the night for Northern Colorado. Arthur Rogers, as ever, is over it. His in-swinger is headed over. What a chance. Should have been 2-0. The delivery was once again exquisite. And that was lucky Oprah, who couldn't rise quickly enough. He got stuck underneath it and could only glance it over the bar instead of directing it on frame. Wasn't able to get up in the air early enough. Another example of why you don't want to hand set pieces to Northern Colorado and to Arthur Rogers. Just over 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining until half. We will, of course, have highlights and stats at halftime. We'll show you scores from around the rest of the league, and there have been some very significant ones already tonight. Hear that wind gusting now as Rogers plays it back to Delgado. Falk after him. Delgado calmly clips it clear. Good crowd tonight at Fresno State Soccer Stadium. Slip initially from Dabo, but had time to recover. Central Valley incensed that that's given as a throw to Northern Colorado. Saw the center referee, Jose Lara, look to his assistant. He wasn't sure whether that took a deflection or not. Rogers. Rendon. Stood up by Bijev. Good defending. And then the foul against Danny Robles. And a card as well.
Yellow card has come out of the pocket. This is number 34.
Second player booked for Northern Colorado in this first half, along with Bruno Rendon. Really good defending from Viljan Bijev. Alexis Cerritos, the man who went down there. That's an example of why Viljan Bijev does contribute a lot more than his goals. Drop deep and defend whenever needed. So they do need him to score more, but a big contributor nonetheless. How calm was that from Matias Fernandez? But then he gives it away. Norte looking for teammates. Unsure of what to do with it, plays it short to Rendon. I think Norte wanted his teammates to make more of a penetrating run. He wanted to try to play that in behind. Nobody made the run that he was looking for. This will be a free kick, though, for Northern Colorado. Always such a crucial time in the match, those few minutes before halftime. Colorado could extend the lead to 2 before the break, or if Fuego could pull it back and make it 1-1 going into the locker room. Potentially massive swing in this match for either side if they could find the net before this halftime whistle. shielded by Hernandez. Took a couple whacks. What about playing that quickly, but now leaves it behind. Noah Powder, all kinds of time on the ball. Then a little shove after he got rid of it with Harold Hansen. It's Billy King wanting to cut inside. He has Powder going on the overlap and uses him, and Powder put it off Hansen. This will be a corner. Now, Jose Lara initially pointed for a goal kick, or began to, and then pointed to the corner flag instead. Billy King takes it short for Rogers. That's surprising. Now Rogers loops it in. Dangerous ball and headed wide. Rendon this time. Another good opportunity from a Rogers delivery. And if Fuego continue to allow him to swing those in, it's only a matter of time before somebody in white connects. Rendon not able to direct it on frame. Just as lucky Opera was unable to several minutes ago. Here the fire squad and the other Fuego supporters groups making noise at the left end of the stadium. Hansen. Yeah, Norte marauding, hoping for a mistake. Cromwell now. As we approach the 45 minutes, we await the indication of stoppage time. As Cerritos finds Bijev and then commits the foul, and the play breaks down. We see the indication of 5 minutes of stoppage time added on to the end of this first half. Well, this was disappointing for Central Valley, who had a little something cooking on this left side. Well, Cerritos called for a little clip on the heels, apparently. He obviously felt there wasn't anything in that. Norte, the man who was apparently clipped. Arthur Rogers punts this forward. More contact there. Looped clear by Carrera, taken down acrobatically by Cerritos. That's a great sequence. Helped out wide by Dye into the path of Hansen. Hansen surging forward now, has Dye ahead of him. He is clipped and fouled, and a free kick. Noah Powder picks up the ball and says, I won it fairly. Jose Lara disagreed. Does look like there's contact from behind. So a late chance in first half stoppage time for Central Valley to deliver something telling. And this is a yellow card for Powder as well. 3 players booked in this first half now for Fuego. That will be something for Eamon Zayed to consider at halftime. How he wants to configure and time his potential substitutions. It's Victor Falk with the delivery. Good ball in and just over the head of Francois Delis. Fuego were asking for a penalty for another push. Delis won that penalty earlier in the half. Now nothing in that. At least it didn't appear from that camera angle. It's a decent ball in, but just a bit too much height under it. Lalo Delgado not in a great hurry to take this ensuing goal kick. Northern Colorado would be just fine with halftime and go in with that goal lead. Won by Carrera, stepped onto by Hansen. Fed to Dye. It's Sharif Dye trying to dance his way in. Norte puts a stop to that. And on they go the other direction. Bodies down behind the play, but play continues. And there's acres of space for Marky Hernandez. Hernandez has Rendon arriving. Hernandez to his left. Hernandez doubles Northern Colorado's lead before half. Big moment at the end of this first half of play. He does the dance. Northern Colorado might be dancing their way back to the top of the table tonight. 2-0. Fourth goal in 6 games for Marky Hernandez, who continues to sizzle down the stretch. Onto his left, looked like it took a deflection off of Abdul Razak Cromwell. Gut punch for Central Valley. Elation for Northern Colorado. They were happy to get to halftime at 1-0. They have doubled their advantage and doubled their delight. Marky Hernandez visibly delighted, as you can understand. His 6th of the year. What a contribution he's made lately. Northern Colorado in line for 5 wins in a row. If they could then see this out in the second half. Might be time for more. This is Ammon. And it just ran away from him. Central Valley on the ropes here just before halftime. This is dribbled out of trouble. Maybe one more attack for them now. Final seconds of this first half. Could they pull one back before the break? It's Falk onto the attack. Victor Falk stabbed out by Rendon, who tracked back well. It will be a late corner for the home side and likely the last action of this first half. Victor Falk wanting to move that end board, give himself a little bit more space to wrap his foot around this corner. Falk's in swinger and easily cleared. Dye takes it down, and that's the end of the first half. Fuego upset that they weren't allowed to complete the attack, but as soon as that ball went backward, Jose Lara blew his whistle. And so a frustrating half for the home side and a perfect half, at least in terms of the result, for the visitors. Northern Colorado given such a massive chance to return to the top of the table tonight, and they are seizing it with both hands so far. 45 minutes gone, 45 to go at Fresno State Soccer Stadium. And goals early and late have Northern Colorado 2 to the good at the break. Back with your halftime, highlights and stats and more next.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Wonderful scenes from the city of Fresno as we're at halftime here in the Central Valley of California tonight. League One, always crazy. It's been a fantastic year already with some numbers and facts from around the league. Here is Mark Schoenster.
The first player to ever score for both clubs in a head-to-head series was Alex Morel. You see here in 2020, he scored for the Greenville Triumph. He also scored the first ever goal in USL League One history, and you see it here, 2019, March 29th, Alex Morel gets it by Dallas J, and then he would end up being a teammate with Dallas J just a year later. You would think maybe there's quite a few players in USL League One that have been in this club and have scored for both sides in a head-to-head series, but it's actually only 3 players up to this weekend. Rafa Mensingen, the second one to do so, was able to score on North Carolina FC with the Chattanooga Red Wolves last season. And then, of course, he's been scoring goals aplenty this year for North Carolina FC, and that includes, of course, his former club, the Chattanooga Red Wolves, with some help from Olex Anderson. Maybe one of the easiest goals Rafa will ever score. Just tucks that one home early this year in April, which then leads us to our third player. Rafa Mensingen, by the way, the only active player right now in USL League One with this honor, Mateus Cassini, recently in USL League One, not currently at the moment. Really interesting note, both Cassini and Rafa Mensingen scored July 16th in this head-to-head series in the first half of the equation, which ultimately is an oddity, a little something for you to think about and ponder. Odd coincidence, maybe. And then we see here Cassini scoring against his former club earlier this season. And with that in mind, that leads us to Ryan Sierakowski, which, interestingly enough, this guy has been on 4 different teams in USL League One's history, and he has scored for all 4 clubs he has been a part of. The only USL League One player who has scored a goal for 4 different teams. Of course, this was earlier this season, the only goal so far leading up to the Thursday game against Forward Madison that he has scored this season. He got the fans riled up and going, and here are some of the fun facts to pair along with Ryan Sierakowski. Only one other player has played for 4 League One clubs, but what separates Sierakowski from Cesar Murillo is that Sierakowski, both times, he has switched team to team in the middle of the season, going to Madison halfway through the year, and then also going to, here we are now, the Richmond Kickers in the middle of the year. It's just an odd thing to think about, Cesar Murillo spending every full season with his respective teams. Now, 4 clubs is cool, right? Scoring for 4 clubs is pretty neat. But you know what else is cool? Scoring against 15 different USL League One clubs, and that's something Emiliano Terzaghi did earlier this season against One Knoxville. Terzaghi tying for the most unique clubs scored against in USL League One history. He wasn't the first to get there, though. And actually, the first person to get there is on this same field you're looking at right now. Jake Keegan would be that guy to get to 15 first. And now let's take a look at some comparisons about how they got to this point, scoring against 15 different clubs. You see, it took Terzaghi less time than Keegan, and each of them have 3 teams they haven't scored against. For Terzaghi, Lansing. Obviously, he never had the chance to score against Lansing. He hasn't had the chance to score against the Richmond Kickers either, and Jake Keegan, in a similar vein, hasn't scored against One Knoxville, also hasn't scored against Greenville, but the one team that has stifled both these prolific goal scorers, Orlando City B of all clubs. News and notes are coming up next on USL League One. We'll see you then.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
News and notes from around USL League One this week. Siobhan Marsh, the third Red Wolf to earn Player of the Month honor. He tallied a goal in 4 consecutive matches. Congratulations to Siobhan. Well-deserved. Dominic Casciato, speaking of well-deserved, Coach of the Month, led the Owls to a flawless August, part of what's now a 9-match winning streak after their win earlier tonight. Coach of the Month for Dom. And Player of the Week, Pedro Dolabella, had 3 goal contributions across a pair of Owls victories over this last week. Our Team of the Week in Week 26, you see Pedro Dolabella highlighted there. Luis Heel also scored his first goal of the season to go along with his many assists for the Owls. Marky Hernandez, along with a couple other Northern Colorado players, Lucky Opera and Arthur Rogers, represented in that 11. Our scoreboard from around the league tonight. What a night it's been already. Tormenta, a late turnaround to stun North Carolina FC 3-2. NCFC led 2-1 into the final 10 minutes. Tormenta goals in the 82nd and 94th to turn that on its head and to give the chance Northern Colorado to go back to the top of the table tonight. Union Omaha hung on. They surrendered another goal in stoppage time, but still, yet again, hung on for another 1-goal win. 9 in a row for the Owls. Greenville also a massive win to solidify a potential playoff spot as they beat One Knox 1-0. Upcoming schedule for Fuego, 5 matches left, I should say, for them after tonight against NCFC, at Union Omaha, at Chattanooga, then Greenville, and they end the year at Richmond on the 14th of October. For Northern Colorado, at Forward Madison next week, or I should say in midweek. That will be an interesting trip. Then home to North Carolina FC in another massive one at Greenville, always tricky. Forward Madison at home then, and they end at home against Chattanooga. Big chance for the Hailstorm to take that regular season title. If they can hang on tonight, they would be top. And we'll see if they can do it in just a moment. First half highlights and stats and your second half kickoff from Fresno next.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Highlights from our first half in Fresno tonight between Central Valley and Northern Colorado Hailstorm. An early penalty conceded by the home side. Trevor Ammon tripped by Francois Delis. He disagreed, but Ammon ruthlessly punished that mistake. Just was able to squeeze it past Matias Fernandez, who so nearly got there, but not quite. Into the side netting, it was 1-0. Central Valley had some opportunities, a couple stinging drives from Sharif Daye, forcing a couple really good saves out of Lalo Delgado. This one he tipped over acrobatically, so that was hit with a ton of pace. Then a penalty at the other end. It was Delis who was pushed in the back by Ammon. The point to the spot, but Alexis Cerritos could not capitalize as he tried to side foot it, and Lalo Delgado read him all the way and was able to smother it for his third penalty save of the season. The first penalty that Fuego have missed all year. They were 8 for 8 as a team from the spot, not anymore. And then in first half stoppage time, a potentially lethal second goal. Marky Hernandez cutting onto his left, using Bruno Rendon as a decoy and taking it on himself. It took a deflection off Cromwell and nestled into that corner, putting Northern Colorado in a commanding position as we head into half number 2. You see the first half stats: 7 shots for the Hailstorm, 6 for Central Valley Fuego. A pretty evenly matched first half in terms of the statistics, but the only one that matters ultimately, the goals column, and that is so far dominated by Northern Colorado. 3 yellow cards for the Hailstorm in the first half. That's worth keeping in mind. Noah Powder, Danny Robles, and Bruno Rendon all on a caution as we start the second half, and we'll see how Eamon Zayed chooses to manage that as we come to the other side of the break. A nice look there at the Fuego mascot, as Fuego, with just a couple home matches left after tonight, Fuego El Fox entertaining fans. And Northern Colorado staying in their locker room a little bit longer at half. Fuego have been back out and ready to play for a little bit. We'll see if they're able to make some kind of turnaround in this second half, having to absorb some big punches in that opening 45. Chances that did not go their way, and Northern Colorado, as most very good teams are, ruthless and clinical. And they had the opportunities to land those blows. Central Valley are making a halftime substitution. Zahir Vasquez is coming on in place of Harold Hansen. Our first change of the evening for either side. So Vasquez for Hansen. They are also bringing Billy Forbes on for Viljan Bijev. So Forbes, it's a forward for a forward substitution. Forbes for Bijev. The Vasquez for Harold Hansen substitution, that's a forward coming on for a defender. So the definition of an attacking change. Here we go in the second half. Can Fuego mount a stirring comeback, or can Northern Colorado see this out and return to the summit of the League One table? There's Edison Gonzalez, clearly feeling he has to gamble and go for it in the second half, with his team now down multiple goals. Sending on 2 forwards for the second 45. Possession right now, though, is with Northern Colorado. Norte swinging it out to the left, where Trevor Ammon has drifted. He will roam all across that front line, of course. Here's your scoring summary. Trevor Ammon from the penalty spot in the 8th minute. Marky Hernandez in the 4th minute of first half stoppage time. Now Arthur Rogers skipping past defenders, serving it out wide to Bruno Rendon. Rendon, Hernandez along the end line, and runs out of room. Victor Falk upset that his heels were clipped by Hernandez. Again, Central Valley have scored goals lately. 4 at home against Madison a couple weeks ago. They scored 3 on the road at Richmond, then 2 last weekend, and a 2-2 draw with Lexington. All those games ended in draws, 4-4, 3-3, 2-2. They remain winless since July 22nd. That's a span of 9 games. This is forward for Ammon, who almost got his foot to it. Might have been able to clip it over Fernandez if he had. It has been a strange season for Central Valley in many ways. Since the beginning of June, every single one of those matches, 17 games in total, every single one has been decided by 1 goal or has been a draw. That is to say, they've been close so many times, just have not been able to get over the hump repeatedly. Trying to stay in touching distance here. It's Northern Colorado looking for that killer third, and that shot dragged wide. But the Hailstorm have started the second half strongly. Norte taking that on with his left. Norte from London won the FA Youth Cup with Chelsea. He came up through their academy playing with guys like Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Nathan Ake. Here goes Jose Carrera, trying to create something for Central Valley. They need a spark early in this second half. Here is Zahir Vasquez, just on at halftime. Came back off him. He was hoping to win a corner, but the bounce did not fall kindly for him, and Noah Powder with a nice take on, and that's really well done. And all kinds of space for Trevor Ammon, who was offside. It's a well-worked counter for Northern Colorado, but Ammon not quite able to stay the right side of the defender before the ball was released. If you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157. That's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access, Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app. First touch now for Billy Forbes after coming on at half. Forbes, who played for Turks and Caicos in the CONCACAF Nations League competition. Down the line for Vasquez by the corner flag. Vasquez, did that stay in play? It did not. It is a goal kick. Fuego trying to create some things down this right side early in the second half. Northern Colorado sticking to Vasquez so far. The Hailstorm will have a free kick on the attacking side of that halfway line now. Well, when we spoke to Ayman Zayed when they were in the midst of that 4-match losing run last month, he said that it just takes one result to turn the tide. Ammon, Robles, Opera, Powder. Suits Northern Colorado just fine, maintaining control. Arthur Rogers, Bruno Rendon, closed down and intercepted. Hailstorm racing back into defensive positions though and doing well. Not allowing a counter, and they have a chance to go back on the attack now. This is Danny Robles. This is Noah Powder. Powder swings it in. Headed clear by Dulise. This is where the Hailstorm want to be, on the attack, controlling the ball, controlling the tempo. Rogers spraying it out to the left. But Ayman Zayed telling us a few weeks ago, it just takes one result to turn the tide. They drew 0-0 at home with Greenville that night. They were disappointed with that result. Then they went to Tormenta, and they were trailing 2-1 in second half stoppage time. This is swung in by Rendon, but way over hit. And out for a goal kick. But they were minutes away, seconds away really, from going down to a 5th defeat in 6 games in late August. It looked like their slide was set to continue. But then Marky Hernandez scored that late goal, a header from a corner, a late set piece to salvage a 2-2 draw. And that seemed to be the spark. That seemed to be the result that turned the tide, as Ayman Zayed said it would. Even though it wasn't a win, it felt like it for the Hailstorm. And they've ripped off 4 straight wins since then, and in a really good position currently to make it 5. And to return themselves to the top of the League One table if this result holds up. Northern Colorado still have lots of weapons on the bench to bring on in this second half if needed. They have Stefan Lukic. Jackson Dietrich is available. Irvin Parra not in the 18 this week. This is touched down by Robles, not able to command it. Pinballing around, and Rogers takes possession. Arthur Rogers. Robles, great close control. It ran away from him and from Rogers and booted clear. Just the one man forward for Central Valley. And that's not a good place to be when you're down 2 goals. They are clinging on here, just trying to stay in this match and avoid falling further behind. It's Billy King who will run at that back line. King's cross cut out at the expense of a corner. The block by Omar Lemus. Set piece coming for the Hailstorm.
Number 14, Arthur Rogers will take the corner.
And Arthur Rogers dropped in a couple of quality set pieces in the first half that could have resulted in headed goals. His teammates not able to put those headers on frame. Rogers to the near post. It was flicked along there. Well, they meant that. Had that near post runner. I think that was Ammon who was cutting across that near side. He was. Got in front of the defender. He was trying to flick it on from there. Went off the defender and out for a throw. Long throw heaved in by Noah Powder. And not what he intended. The wind is gusting a bit in Fresno tonight. I don't know if that totally explains where that ball ended up. Those are the kinds of things that are funny when you're leading 2-0 and if you ultimately win the game. Another bad turnover by Central Valley. It's Ammon now. Trevor Ammon over the bar. Not a man, of course, who you want to be turning balls over to in your own defensive half. They get away with it this time. Trevor Ammon on the score sheet in the 8th minute from the penalty spot. Not his best effort from the top of the box there. Certainly capable of scoring from that range, but not that time. Matias Fernandez put under some pressure. Just has to boot it clear and out into touch. It's really been all Northern Colorado in the opening 10 minutes of this second half. That goal right before halftime changed things so much. Think about how differently that first half could have turned out from Central Valley's standpoint. As this throw, I believe, will have to be retaken. Noah Powder. That's a cagey veteran move. Lucky Oprah, excuse me. This is kicking the ball away. And then saying, was I supposed to pick it up and throw? Oh, I thought, okay. Just finding a way to expend an extra few seconds with this 2-goal advantage. Here's a foul, and that'll be a free kick. Cerritos whistled for that. Those are the kinds of little sequences, though, that moment where Lucky Oprah kicked the ball away before taking the throw. Those are the kinds of moments that, at least in the English Premier League and other leagues around Europe and around the U.S., are trying to cut down on that time wasting and in moments like that, where the ball is out of play, they're trying to add those on more at the end of halves. This is Rogers. It's still Arthur Rogers. It's Arthur Rogers. What a save by Matias Fernandez at full stretch. Not sure if that ball would have crept inside that post, but he couldn't take a chance. Arthur Rogers, normally the provider. He's only scored once this year, but it opened up for him. Part of that Central Valley defense nearly sliced apart there. Fuego not able to create anything going forward thus far in this second half. Still a lot of time remaining, of course, and one goal can change everything. It can tilt and alter the entire feel of a game, of course. No real sign or hint at the moment of that moment arriving for Fuego, but you never know. Northern Colorado, if they can avoid mistakes in this second half, extremely well placed to extend their winning streak and go back above Union Omaha and leapfrog North Carolina FC once again in the table. Goal kick here as Marky Hernandez was hustled across the line by Cromwell. Eamon Zayed spoke a couple weeks ago about getting back to basics defensively. And we talked in the first half about Northern Colorado not being nearly as airtight at the back over their last 11 games as they had been in their first 16. By far the fewest goals conceded in the league over the first half of the regular season. Collision there as Noah Powder went right through the back of Mohamed Dabo. He's on a yellow card, remember. That's really not a good challenge to be making when you're on a yellow. And with your side leading 2-0 and cruising in full control of the game, that's not the best moment from Noah Powder, but he gets away with it. And I think that's a moment that will probably have Eamon Zayed thinking about making a change and getting him off. That was nearly an attack right down the spine. Sharif Daye trying to slide in a man ahead of him. Well, here they go the other way, and it's Hernandez trying to lift it over Dabo, who intercepts before it reached Billy King. Game opening back up a bit. It's not the best ball forward, and Rogers takes it back for the Hailstorm. Going back to Noah Powder, a terrific player who's had great moments, especially lately. But when you're up 2-0 and you have a player on a yellow card who then makes a challenge that a less lenient referee might have been prone to show a second yellow on, as a manager, that always makes you think about making a change and just taking that player off to make sure there isn't that opportunity for your side to be reduced to 10 men and for the game to change in an instant. It's nothing personal against a guy like Noah Powder. Anybody on a card in that situation would be prone to being subbed. But we'll see. I want to remind you about the 988 helpline as we enter the 61st minute. National Suicide Prevention Week is September 10th through September 16th, and to support the mental health of our communities, the USL has partnered with the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you need support, call or text 988 now. You are not alone. Trevor Ammon keeping it alive for Billy King. It's time to measure across or maybe a shot. Instead, he sprays it to the opposite side in Bruno Rendon. This is Rendon straight at Fernandez. Well hit. Matias Fernandez solidly behind it. Another Well-worked attack, though, by Northern Colorado, who continue to play very well tonight. Mentioned in the first half, Ayman Zayed looking to get Bruno Rendon more involved in the attack down the flank over the last few weeks, and you can see it paying off tonight because he's been very involved on that right side. One back in the midfield. Ammon shielding the ball with his body and earning another set piece, and Central Valley's frustration, both the players on the pitch and the fans in the stand, increasing. Mohamed Dabo penalized for that. See, Ammon just establishes position, gets both feet planted on the ground. He knows the contact is coming. It is so frustrating when you're chasing a game and you're down a couple. You so badly want to get the ball back and attack and find a way back into the game, and you give away a free kick. You have to stand around and wait. You feel that clock ticking. Feel that time growing shorter, the air coming out of your balloon. Still time in this one, of course, but first Central Valley have to defend another set piece delivery from Arthur Rogers. There's plenty of white shirts to aim for. Rogers, not his best. Nearly one back by Marky Hernandez, and he does win a free kick. Was that a free kick or a throw? Some confusion. It is going to be a throw, which Jose Lara wanted retaken. Lucky Opera now. Arthur Rogers roaming up and down the pitch from that back line, that center back spot tonight. Rogers sliding it to Hernandez. Marky Hernandez. He scored from a similar position in the first half. Not quite able to wrap it inside the far post this time. The USL is celebrating Hispanic Latino Heritage Month with stories, events, and more, bringing to life this special celebration across the league. Go to uslsoccer.com/Hispanic-heritage to learn more. Look at that attempt from Marky Hernandez again. Look at the space and time that Arthur Rogers has to pick a pass there. It's not at all what you want to do against a guy like that. Fuego trying to build something the other way, but Rendon able to intercept and spring Hernandez again, and Rendon rampaging forward and wants it back and gets it. It's Bruno Rendon cutting it back into the path of Noah Powder, but read excellently by Mohamed Dabo as he snuffs that out. And then DeLeese had it run under his boot and out of play. Now, Fuego were right in this game right before halftime. They, of course, had that penalty at 1-0, had such a good chance to level it. That penalty was saved, but still down just a single goal, apparently heading into the break, but in that 4th minute of first half stoppage time, conceding that killer second to Marky Hernandez. And you could just feel how deflating that was for Fuego. And they've really not recovered. They have not gotten going in this second half at all. They're about to make another substitution. They're going to bring on Jesse Williams to replace Sharif Daye in a moment. Edison Gonzalez continues to search for something to spark his side. Cerritos, that's neat play from him. Carrera now. Daye. That goes out. Let's see if that's Daye's last action. It will be. His number up on the board. His number up tonight. Had a really good first half, Sharif Daye. Had a couple of well-struck efforts on goal that on another night might have found the back of the net, but two good saves for Lalo Delgado to go along with his penalty stop from Alexis Cerritos. And Daye not able to get involved much in the second half. So Jesse Williams on in his place. We'll see if he's able to spark something for Fuego. They're in down the right here. That's sent straight on goal. The rebound loose and shouts for a penalty, waved away emphatically by Jose Lara as Lalo Delgado able to gather his own spill. Billy Forbes hunting around. See Delgado spilling that initial one. Forbes not able to make clean contact with the rebound. He was looking for the penalty, but Jose Lara was not interested. Falk keeps it in play. Opera had his pocket picked. In down the right goes Omar Lemus. It's Lemus parried by Delgado. Falk after the rebound. Lemus after it as well. Now some life though for Central Valley. Can they pull a goal back and haul themselves back into this match? Lalo Delgado having to make 2 saves in the last 2 minutes. So those changes for Edison Gonzalez starting to work, at least in terms of shifting the balance of attacking play for now. It's got to tell on the scoreboard soon, though, for Central Valley. 5 saves on the night now for Lalo Delgado, who has been immense. Even though Fuego haven't had long stretches of pressure in attacking play, when they have been able to possess it in the final third, they've been dangerous. Now we're going to have a yellow card shown to Bruno Rendon. And that's his second yellow, and he's going to be off. It's a red card for Bruno Rendon, and Northern Colorado reduced to 10 in the 69th minute. And the Hailstorm are puzzled as to what that was for. Might have been for time wasting. I thought that ball was in play when Rendon was juggling it. And you see his frustration. Now Bruno Rendon jawing with Francois Dulis as he makes the long walk. But that's exactly the kind of scenario that you fear, of course, as a coach when you have a player on a yellow card. Now, Bruno Rendon's such a key player for them. You understand why he wasn't taken off, but plenty of frustration for Northern Colorado at that situation, as they'll have to see out the final 20 minutes plus now with just 10. Sounds like Ayman Zayed is incensed. There he is. Yeah, he is livid. I think he's been sent off as well. Has he? Yeah, he has. So Bruno Rendon and Ayman Zayed both sent off 70 minutes in. So Colin Falvey, you assume, would take over for the rest of this match on the touchline for Northern Colorado. So Zayed furious at that second yellow shown to Bruno Rendon, as that's gathered by Matias Fernandez. So a game that looked like it might peter out without too much further incident. And the only real suspense about 5 minutes ago seemed to be whether Northern Colorado would add to their score line, add to their margin of victory. This is turned over. Zahir Vasquez trying to create. Not able to find a way through those white shirts for now. Norte Norti able to handle it away quite well. Norty looking for teammates forward. Ammon just about up by himself now. That's not a good header. Came right to Billy King, and that's exactly the kind of thing Northern Colorado want, especially now. They'll take all the free kicks and set pieces and dead ball situations they can get over the last 20 minutes now to try to milk this clock down as they nurse this lead with 10 men. Told somebody on Northern Colorado's bench has been shown a yellow card now. They're still upset about that whole sequence a few minutes ago. It is McCain Clark, we're told, one of the substitutes, who has been carded. They still have Noah Powder and Danny Robles on the pitch, both on yellows as well. They have an attacking free kick here, however. Rogers pings it to the edge of the area. Big collision there. That looked like head-to-head. An immediate concern for both players involved. Jesse Williams involved for Central Valley. And Leo Fola for Northern Colorado.
Fuego FC by visiting our official website at fuegofc.com. Download the 2023 schedule. Only have 2 games left. Get all match day information and all things Fuego FC.
That will bring us to a de facto second half hydration break.
Remember families sale items? Capelli items 35% off in the Fuego store. Season ticket holders get 50%.
Marky Hernandez still arguing with the referee. Perhaps over the Rendon second yellow a few minutes ago. So Northern Colorado still in a commanding position in the scoreline. They are down a man, though, for the rest of this one. Central Valley have only had Victor Falk carded. Again, a Northern Colorado win sees them go to the top of the table. They have the tiebreaker over Union Omaha, who won earlier tonight for their 9th consecutive win. This would be Northern Colorado's 5th in a row if they can see it out. North Carolina FC losing rather sensationally 3-2 at home to Tormenta, yielding 2 late goals in that one. A game that they looked destined to win with 10 minutes to go. It turned out to be the opposite. So they dropped 3 points. Omaha and Northern Colorado poised to take full advantage at the moment. Billy King. Good ball. He had 4 shirts around him. He found his teammate through them. "15 minutes plus stoppage time for Central Valley to set up a more spectacular finish tonight. Northern Colorado, as uneventful as possible, would be just fine. Carrera. Falk, Lemus, Falk again, space to deliver across. He does, across the face of goal it goes. That was dangerous, not dealt with very well by Northern Colorado, but they got away with it. That ball was lying in the attacking 6-yard box for a long time. Carrera tussling and doing well, but then a heavy touch takes it away from him, and King clipped and fouled, and that's going to be a booking, I believe. Yes, it is. Jose Carrera into the book in the 76th minute. And again, just the kind of thing Northern Colorado will crave. As long as nobody gets injured, these stoppages in play are precious for them. Rob Cornwall's about to come on. He is going to replace goal scorer Marky Hernandez, whose goal in the 4th minute of first half stoppage time gave Northern Colorado this 2-goal advantage. Angel Ruelas has come on for Alexis Cerritos for Fuego. Angel Ruelas came off the bench last week against Lexington and scored in second half stoppage time to rescue that 2-2 draw. Able to stab home a rebound to salvage that late point for Fuego last Saturday in a very contentious match. Rob Cornwall, towering figure at the back, also able to get forward and contribute goals, as he did last week, scoring that match winner as Marky Hernandez helped off the pitch, maybe struggling with cramp. Abdul Razak Cromwell carrying him off the field. Rob Cornwall, though, scoring from a set piece in the 88th minute last week to give the Hailstorm that late victory over Tormenta. Normally on for his defending, though, and that's what he's on for here with this 2-goal advantage. Another whistle. It has been a whistle-filled second half. It is offside as the flag was raised on the near side. This time it's the Fuego bench who are upset about that decision, feeling that the player couldn't have been offside from that situation. Mohamed Dabo. Fuego continuing to attack 10 defenders. They had that one brief flurry right after the second yellow shown to Bruno Rendon. Not much over the last 5 minutes or so. Dabo again. See those white shirts sitting back, just Trevor Ammon up top at the moment. He'll be quite content to remain in that posture as long as the scoreline remains the same. Central Valley so far not able to find the guile to break down that wall of white shirts. Still time though, if they find a goal soon. Make this finish very tense for Northern Colorado. Trying to flick it around the corner there was Lemus. Dulis. Cromwell. Cornwall away. Forward it goes. Ammon trying to hold it up. Taken back by Cromwell. Lost though to Rogers. Arthur Rogers on the run. And shouldered off the ball well. Here's Lemus now for Central Valley. Trying to attack that space. It's Lemus. It is Omar Lemus. He drags it just wide. Boy, it opened up for him. Omar Lemus kept on going and going. Just needed the finish, but that's the toughest part, of course. And scuffed it a bit. Pulled it a bit wide, and even if it had been on frame, Lalo Delgado looked like he had that post covered. Not scored this season, Omar Lemus. Central Valley's leading scorer, Alexis Cerritos, off the pitch now. 8 goals on the year, as mentioned. Nobody else with more than 2 for Fuego. They have been very challenged in that goal-scoring department this year, even though it's been much better for them lately. Into the final 10 minutes of the normal 90, as Trevor Ammon has stayed down after that latest challenge from Jose Carrera. It has been a stoppage-filled second half, so you wonder how much stoppage time we'll have. It would figure to be a fair bit. We'll see this moment again. Ammon jumping for that ball, got a forearm to the back. Hammond opened the scoring in the 8th minute from the penalty spot with his 20th goal of the season, the first man in League One history to reach that mark in a single year. And then Marky Hernandez adding to it in the 4th minute of first half stoppage time. That's been it so far. Told you earlier, Central Valley have not had a match decided by more than 1 goal since early June. Everything has been either a 1-goal game or a draw. They've only won 3 of those 17, but they've been right in every single one. Can they pull one back here to make this a 1-goal game at least? Give themselves an opportunity to rescue an unlikely point. As things stand, Northern Colorado not only heading back to the top of the table, but heading for a season sweep of the Fire and Ice Derby. Having won the 2 prior meetings in Windsor earlier this year, 4-1 and 1-0. It's a 7-1 aggregate score on the season between these 2 clubs. Victor Falk spaced to line one up from distance wide. Delgado again had it covered. Decent hit, but ultimately one that suits Northern Colorado again. Flying header there right through the back went Jesse Williams, and he's shown the yellow. Can't really have any complaints there, can he?
Jesse Williams.
And he flies right through the back of Danny Robles. Yes, he wins the header, but you can't do that. You obviously don't want injuries if you're Northern Colorado. You don't want them no matter who you are, but all these stoppages in play, breaking up any little bits of momentum that Central Valley might have generated in this second half. That is the last action of the night for Danny Robles. Jackson Dietrich comes on in his place. That's a like-for-like substitution. Jackson Dietrich is often slotted into that attacking midfield role. Billy King. Fuego still trying to find a route through these white shirts. That comes all the way across for Billy Forbes. Forbes with his left had it blocked. Balls to Carrera. Dabo swings it out to the left side. Forbes after it, goes over his head, comes to Lemus. Lemus in. Out into touch for a Central Valley throw. Final 5 minutes of the 90. Jesse Williams. Francois Delis. Mohamed Dabo. Carrera. Lemus. Lemus's cross. And it falls back post. Big chance. Scuffed wide. That was the opportunity for Central Valley to set up that grandstand finish. It fell to Zahir Vasquez. He didn't make a clean connection with it. And it bobbled harmlessly past that near post. Missed clearance from Arthur Rogers, who doesn't miss many of those. What a chance. Been a frustrating night so far for the home side, who again have been so much better lately, so much more dynamic in attack. Not as much tonight, and a lot of credit for that goes to Northern Colorado. We're about to send Stefan Lukic onto the pitch to replace Trevor Ammon. Arthur Rogers has been shown a yellow card meanwhile.
Substitution coming on the pitch for the Hailstorm.
Here is that change now as Lukic replaces Ammon.
Stefan Lukic coming off at number 9.
So Trevor Ammon on the score sheet yet again tonight, and it didn't take him long. In the 8th minute, after he won the penalty, he converted it himself. Set his side on their way tonight to what at the moment appears to be a table-topping victory. Not so just yet. Falk puts another one into the mix. Delgado punches. Taken on the edge of the box. It wouldn't sit down. Back heel to Lemus. Serve back post over the head of Vasquez. And allowed smartly to run out of play. Northern Colorado can take the air out of the balloon again. Lukic looking for a free kick there. Crowd yells at him to get up. Central Valley keep on coming, still searching for that goal that might make things more tense for Northern Colorado in the final minutes. They're obviously starting to run short on time. You would figure that there will be a fair amount of stoppage time, but they need at least 2. Carrera and Dulce. Vasquez, edge of the area, tussling with Rogers. Rogers shields it out, he does well. Goal kick. Minute number 90. It's been a very solid road performance for Northern Colorado. Despite the controversy and the tumults of that 69th minute incident where Robles was shown a second yellow and Ayman Zayed followed him. They were so upset about that decision. But they've handled the 10-man scenario pretty well so far. Not long to go now. Dulce had the chance to play it back to his keeper, chose not to. He's hemmed in here. Does well, though, to get out of it. Central Valley need to get out of their own half and put the ball back into danger again. They have not spent enough time in the attacking third tonight. There will be 9 additional minutes added on. We thought there'd be a substantial amount. There is. So still some time for Central Valley if they can get one back soon. This is Dabo and Carrera and Lemus. Trying to one-touch it into the path of Forbes, but that route was cut off. This falls now to Stefan Lukic. He has Billy King making the run. Is King onside? Apparently so. He chooses to just consume some time and pulls it back. So into the second minute of the 9 added on. Northern Colorado have it where they wanted in that attacking third. Chance to milk clock, buy time, frustrate Central Valley further. Free kick for Central Valley, but they needed to go to the other end. Falk looking for a route forward. Finds Lemus. Lemus has Forbes ahead of him, trying to bend it all the way to that back post. It falls to Billy Forbes at the crossbar. Another glorious chance spurned by Central Valley. They've had several tonight. Delgado's made some great saves, and a couple others that were just simply missed. Bad giveaway for Northern Colorado. Again, they get away with it. That's headed out for a corner. Bit of confusion on the back line there. Perhaps some tiredness creeping in for Northern Colorado, understandably. 3rd minute of the 9 added. Forbes to take the corner. Forbes looking to bend it. It deflects. What a save, Delgado, and then it's scrambled away. Incredible stop. Lalo Delgado is an absolute brick wall tonight, as he has been all season long. Phenomenal reflex save to keep it 2-0. He saved a penalty in the first half. He saved a couple of Sharif Dye rocket volleys. That might have been his best of the bunch, though. Lemus gives away the foul on the free kick, and it's ebbing away from Central Valley, who really, when you think about it, have had the chances to win this game. But Lalo Delgado has been a difference maker. Look at that. That would have been an own goal from Lucky Opera. Put it right at his own keeper. There's been a card shown to somebody on the Fuego bench. When you watch that replay, it would be easy to say, if you're somebody that isn't typically impressed by goalkeepers, it would be easy to say, well, he put it right at him. But still, you have to get the hands up, and that's not easy from that kind of range, especially coming from your own player, which you wouldn't normally expect. Still terrific reflexes from Delgado. It's been a strange game if you think about it, because Northern Colorado have been excellent. It's been a terrific road performance by them. They fully deserve this. Fuego, even though they haven't had that many moments in attack, they've created some quality opportunities. And in that instance there, as that goes out for a goal kick, they created a set piece that almost resulted in an own goal, but every time they've had those opportunities, Lalo Delgado has been equal to them. And of course, that's what you need when you're a top-class team like Northern Colorado are this year. You have that goalkeeper who, when you have those moments of instability, you're going to concede chances from time to time. He's able to bail you out and swing a match in your favor. That's exactly what Delgado has done tonight. Falk. Forbes. Ran away from Forbes, and Noah Powder can take it the other way. Powder has Lukic making a run, had it lost in his feet. That counter-attacking chance is gone. Only the two were up countering, though, and that's smart from Northern Colorado. No need to stretch yourself and expose yourself with a 2-goal lead in stoppage time. Falk, good ball to Lemus. He's immediately fronted. Lemus cuts into his left. He goes down. Jose Lara again not interested. 3 minutes to go. Powder looks to skip away down the left. Tries to chip the keeper ambitiously. That's a good ball for Forbes. Billy Forbes checking back. This is still Forbes. Billy Forbes! Wide. hit the side netting and went behind the wrong side of the post, at least as far as Central Valley are concerned. He's had a couple chances since coming on Billy Forbes. That was good from him. He's able to twist Arthur Rogers inside out a bit. Rogers looking a little bit tired. Not able to put the chance on frame. Just 2 minutes to go. And a free kick for Northern Colorado, which will kill another 30 seconds or so. The 2 first-half goals appear that they'll be enough for the Hailstorm tonight. Trevor Ammon in the 8th minute, Marky Hernandez in the 4th minute of stoppage time in the first half. Referee, I think, is going to show a second or a yellow card to Norte Norti for time wasting. So Norti into the book in the 98th minute. Central Valley, their winless run will stretch to 10 games. They never quit tonight, to their credit. They never have all season long. If they don't find a late goal here, this again would be the first time since early June that they've lost by more than a goal. Or had any game decided by more than a goal one way or another. Offside flag is raised. Might be the final free kick of the night. Forward one more time for Fuego. Edge of the box, it falls to Forbes. Billy Forbes trying to dance through a few white shirts. Unable to do so. Lukic wide to Powder. And there's the final whistle. And it's 5 in a row and back to the top of the table for Northern Colorado. And in the ice and fire derby, it's the Hailstorm who keep their cool. And at least for now, they're the top dogs again on the League One mountain. They prevail tonight by 2-0 over Central Valley Fuego. They continue their hot run. And they continue to battle for that Players' Shield, the regular season title and home field in the playoffs. Sharif Daye is our American Business Machines man of the match for Central Valley. Had a couple of blistering shots in the first half that on another night might have been spectacular goals. On this night, Lalo Delgado was in the way. Our play of the match also presented by American Business Machines. It was this opportunity for Billy Forbes, a scuffed clearance that fell right to him. Forbes onto the bar. One of those couple late opportunities, and there was a block as well. What a recovery by Rob Cornwall to deflect that onto the bar and keep the finish from being more tense. Arthur Rogers forcing the save of the match, also presented by American Business Machines. That stretching full-length save by Matias Fernandez in the first half. A really good one. As Arthur Rogers was looking for just his second goal of the year to go along with his 10 assists. Let's show you highlights from this one as Northern Colorado took control early, as they went immediately in search of their 5th straight win. This penalty in the 8th minute scored by Trevor Ammon for his 20th marker of the season. Again, the first man in League One history to score 20 in a single year. Central Valley had a penalty of their own midway through the first half. The push against Ammon. Alexis Cerritos had converted all 4 of his penalties on the year, but not this time. Lalo Delgado going the right way and leaving no rebound. Huge moment in the game. He preserved the clean sheet and would preserve it the rest of the way. And then in first half stoppage time, Marky Hernandez bending it gorgeously with his left. It took a deflection, which helped it as well. Came off of Abdul Cromwell, but still an outstanding finish and a real dagger right before half. Central Valley never quit. Again, they tried throughout the second half. They huffed and puffed. They had some chances. Lemus forcing a save out of Lalo Delgado. Omar Lemus was good in the second half, created good opportunities racing down that right flank. Delgado able to push that out. Arthur Rogers able to swing it clear. Lemus again involved in this one as he was able to cut inside but not able to finish. And that was the story of the night for Central Valley. The finishing touch was simply not there. This good ball that fell off a scuffed clearance. Billy Forbes again. Terrific recovery block by Rob Cornwall. He made the mistake but then was able to throw his body in the way. Watch this. Look at it take that slight deflection off his right foot and onto the bar. And it stayed out, and it stayed out all night for Central Valley. Both sides ended up with 13 shots tonight, one more on frame for Northern Colorado. And of course, the one that matters is the fact that two of theirs found the back of the net. Fuego outpossessed them 55-45. Doesn't matter though. Here are the updated standings. Northern Colorado do in fact go back to the top of the table. 52 points, but they have the tiebreaker over Union Omaha since their goal differential is superior as they are on 15 wins along with the Owls and North Carolina FC. So the Hailstorm continue to roll along. It is a fascinating finish that we have in store for us over the final month of this League One season. Central Valley battling well. They'll certainly be back next year with a rebuilt squad. But it was Northern Colorado Hailstorm's night, and they hope it will be their year. 5 in a row for them. We hope you enjoyed it. For our whole crew, I'm Donnie Barnes. Good night from Fresno. It finishes Hailstorm 2, Fuego 0.
United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.